The Ghana Revenue Authority conducted a fire emergency drills, and everybody who saw it believed that this is one of the best safety leadership examples from a public institution. But a media company that reported this called it a prank. Let's get into it. So as you can see from this footage, this is a well-coordinated emergency simulation involving emergency services. Okay, so we have the Ghana National Fire Service right there, and we also have the National Ambulance Service, and then together with the emergency response team of Ghana Revenue Authority. And the scenario was the fact that there was a fire incident on the top floor, and a worker had been exposed to smoke leading to collapse, and so they needed to do a medical evacuation. All right, so we can see the ambulance reversing right in there. You can see that an IP is on a stretcher, and we have the medical response team actually evacuating the person into the ambulance, and we're going to be seeing the firefighters also heading to the first floor. Okay, so we can see a lot of interesting things going on. Now, one thing we need to bear in mind is the fact that this drill was not planned, so the workers are not aware, and so because the drill is not planned, the media who are reporting it called it a prank. So I would like to establish an unplanned drill is not a prank, and so let's try to understand what is a planned drill and what is an unplanned drill. Right, so basically a planned drill is a drill that you carry out by informing all workers ahead of time. So workers are aware that there's going to be an emergency drill probably tomorrow, and so it begins with an alert. Either you display it on a notice board, you have a drill schedule that you've pasted it, and everybody's aware that on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays we do some type of drills. And prior to even doing the drill, you probably make an announcement: attention, all staff, there's going to be a fire evacuation drill at 10 a.m. Everybody's aware. Now, what is the purpose of planned drill? We use planned drill to teach emergency procedures. We use it to familiarize workers with exit and assembly points. We train new employees who have just joined the company. We test, the effectiveness of emergency equipment in a controlled environment. We reduce panic during first time exercise. Now, this has a very good advantage because it is safer for beginners who are not aware. It is easier to coordinate. There's less confusion, and it's good for orientation and compliance training. And that's it. Let's also bear in mind that it has its own limitation. Because workers expect it, behavior is not realistic. People respond casually and they prepare in advance. This is not what you expect in a real emergency situation. Now let's look at an unplanned drill. An unplanned drill happens without prior notice. So workers react as though the emergency is real. Now this has a very unique purpose. We are using it to measure real-time response. We are using it to test actual readiness. We are using it to evaluate decision making under pressure. We are using it to identify the communication gaps and response gaps. We are using it to also assess emergency coordination, the coordination among emergency services like the Ghana National Fire Service and the National Ambulance Service. This has some unique advantages. The fact that it helps us to reveal genuine behaviors during evacuation. It helps us to test emergency systems realistically. It helps us to identify the hidden gaps, and we build a strong culture of emergency preparedness. So these are all important. Both of them help us to build a strong safety culture in the organization. All right, so let's take it this way. Planned drills are used for training. Unplanned drills are used for performance testing, and that's it. And all of these are important. So what you see here is actually an unplanned drill just because the workers were not aware, and we're all supposed to evacuate to the assembly point so that the other firefighters can actually work effectively without escalating the event, and then also any medical situation that may have occurred would be minimized, contained, or recovered. All right, so that's pretty much what it is. So let's try to understand, why did Pulse Ghana put this post? So this is the post right here. The moment the Ghana Revenue Authority pranked staff with a fake fire emergency alert, claiming one employee had collapsed. Let's look at the details. Earlier today, the Ghana Revenue Authority pranked staff with a fake fire emergency alert, claiming one employee had collapsed. After the exercise, the PRO explained that the prank was meant. So they still keep using the keyword prank. And let's look at the public reaction. That's me right there, Cell QHS, right? How do you call a drill a prank? Again, perfect simulation. I like it. Fire drill. Paul says prank. It's called a drill, not a prank. You get it? So basically, they were doing safety drills, but workers were not aware of it. No CPR, nothing, just carrying. So these are the perspective about the medical evacuation. You cannot really tell there was no CPR. These are people who have been trained for it, so persons did not probably need a CPR. So that's pretty much it. And again, this is just a drill, right? And so you cannot expect a CPR. Now, this is really it. I think that Pulse Ghana has a bigger role to play. As a media company, they need to post responsibly. They're supposed to stand for truth and accuracy at all times. All right, so reporting correctly is very important, especially when it comes to health and safety. And so the little advice I have to Pulse Ghana is the fact that word Earth matter. Calling a structured emergency drill a prank can unintentionally trivialize workplace safety efforts and create a wrong public perception about the importance of safety. Now, a better caption would have been GRA conducts a surprise emergency drill to test staff readiness and emergency response coordination. And that is it. And everybody who reads it will understand and say, wow, so this is actually how it looks like with emergency drills and everything, and the response from the emergency response services and all of that. And that is a very strong message that we can communicate to a lot of other public institutions to follow suit and ensure that they are consistently preparing for emergency. So that's it right there. Let me know your thoughts about what Pulse Ghana captioned this scenario. Was it a prank? Would you accept it as a prank? I see that it was a clickbait. They knew what they were about. They actually posted a wrong thing, and they knew. Everybody keeps saying this was a drill. Pulse is saying prank and everything. So this is sometimes the strategies of media companies. They try to take the opposite side so that they can get public reaction and get a post to go viral. But that cannot be at the detriment of safety. When it comes to safety, we don't do this kind of clickbait. Everything must be as truthful as it is on the ground. I'm gonna see you guys in another video. Bye for now.